Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to Emergency Management Associates. We're coming to you from the Area Command, 392 miles west of Kitty Hawk Beach, North Carolina. Guys, we have a lot of things we need to talk about tonight, and it's important. I will wait to get some people into our chat room to make sure we have people here, because again, I don't want to have to repeat myself. This is how important it is. Okay, I'm going to be very honest with you. Our message today is very important. Okay, our message today can save lives, can save families all around our country, and especially in California. Make sure we have people here, because again, I don't want to have to repeat myself. Okay, I'm sorry about that. The audio from my monitor came on, I had to shut it off. But today is an important day, okay? I'm going to talk about earthquakes, yes. There are only a handful of large earthquakes around the globe, okay? Only a handful of large earthquakes around the globe. We'll talk about that. I have no problem talking about that. But I've got some even more important issues that we need to address tonight, okay? Want to make sure we do that, okay? First, let's talk about earthquakes, okay? Then we'll get into some very important matters here, okay? So let's bring up the USGS map here real briefly and talk about earthquakes that are very pending around our globe, okay? Let's go over to first the Alaska Peninsula, okay? Let's go over here to the Alaska Peninsula here. Excuse me. Okay, we're first looking here at the east coast, southeast coast of the Kamchatka Peninsula here. And yes, there is a large earthquake, okay? There were other large earthquakes, but they've been taken down by the USPS. This earthquake, folks, excuse me, let me check on something real quick. This earthquake that you see here depicted on the map is an earthquake that happened yesterday, okay? This happened as a 5.6 large earthquake southeast of Kamchatka Peninsula, and it's actually in the Northern Kuril Islands here. Yes, it's a large 5.6, but there were two other 5.0 earthquakes here earlier today, and they've been taken down. Over here to the north, this is a 4.8 earthquake here, moderate earthquake. Again, it's off the coast. Just to the north there, it's another 4.4. Now, they're only showing 3 earthquakes here. There was a half dozen earthquakes here earlier today. And again, the USPS has taken them down. There were 2 other 5.0 earthquakes here. Okay? Now, let's go over here to the Aleutian Island chain, over here just south of Sandpoint, Alaska. South of Sandpoint, Alaska, we have another 5.1 earthquake here. This is an aftershock. This is an aftershock of the major earthquake that we had hit here just about 4 weeks ago. This is an aftershock of the major earthquake that we had here just 4 weeks ago. Okay? We're going to see aftershocks like this happen here for a very long time. Every time we have a major earthquake, guys, there are going to be aftershocks for a long time. This is just one of them. Okay? USPS, again, has not been showing all the earthquakes here either. Okay? They're not doing it. They never will. USPS is showing one earthquake here in Alaska. This is near Ninilchik, Alaska here. Okay? This is a 2.7 minor earthquake here. 2.7 minor earthquake here. Up here to the north of Anchorage, Alaska here. This is a 2.0 earthquake here. Okay? We go over to the northern part of Denali National Park here, just north of the great big huge mountain, why can I never remember this important mountaintop? During the Obama administration, he renamed the Mount Denali, but it's not. Okay? This is another 2.2 earthquake here in the northern part of Denali National Park here. Okay? Those are basically the only few earthquakes that we have here in Alaska that matter at all. Going over here to southwestern Alaska here, this is a 1.7 tremor over here in Yakutak, Alaska. To the north, there's another 3.2 earthquake here. Okay? Notice where they're at. Notice where they're at. They're just south of Juneau here. Okay? We come down here to the western part of the British Columbia area in Canada. USGS is not showing a darn thing, which is normal. There are some minor earthquakes here, but nothing really something we need to pay a lot of attention to. Okay? We're not going to tonight. Notice here in Canada and Washington, they're not hardly talking about anything here at all. They never do. Never do. Over here to the north in Vancouver Island, this is a 0.9 microquake here near Cowichan Bay, Canada. Near Cowichan Bay, Canada. Okay? Now, USGS has this as an explosion. Really? Really? An explosion over here? Guess what? It's not. It's a microquake. Microquake. This just happens to be 1/10 of a mile deep, though. 1/10 of a mile deep here. Okay? We go south here. Okay? This is a 1.0 tremor. This is south 6 miles northwest of Friday Harbor, Washington. Guess what? 1.0 tremor, but guess what? There are earthquakes here. Tomorrow we're going to be talking more about this tomorrow. Okay? We have earthquakes all over this region, but USGS rarely even talks about it. They're saying a 1.0 tremor here. There are a bunch of tremors. There are also some minor earthquakes here at Friday Harbor, Washington. Okay? But USGS is not going to talk about that, are they? Let's go further south here. They say this is a surface quake near Morganton, Washington. Really? Where's it at? Where's this at? Mount St. Helens. This is not a surface quake. It is 4.7 miles deep. Not a surface quake at all. A 0.0 quake is supposed to be a surface quake. This is not. This is a deep earthquake down inside Mount St. Helens. But they're not talking about that, are they? There are more earthquakes than that. Here there's a 0.7 microquake, but guess what? This is also 4.2 miles deep. Okay? There are more microquakes, more tremors, and also some small earthquakes here at Mount St. Helens, as well as up here north over to Mount Rainier, where they're not showing anything here today. Fascinating, huh? Let's go further south here. Okay? This one is kept at Mount Hood. But USGS says this is 5 miles northeast of Government Camp. Interesting. No cigar. This earthquake is down below the summit of Mount Hood. Minus 0.7 microquake here, 1.3 miles deep. USGS says it's 5 miles northeast of Government Camp. Government Camp is down here at the base of Mount Hood. Government Camp is down at the base of Mount Hood. Government Camp just happens to be where they keep the seismograph that gives up information about Mount Hood. Okay? Again, USGS will never tell us the truth. I want to emphasize that. The government will never, ever tell you the truth. Okay? I believe the only person that will ever give us any kind of truth is Donald Trump. Honestly. Donald Trump or his administration are the only ones we can even count on to get any kind of truth at all. At all. Okay? Down here in California. Okay? This is Brook Trails, California. This is a 2.1 minor earthquake. Down further south here, south of Clear Lake volcano, the Geysers, California area. Sonoma County, California. This is the Geysers area. This is a geothermal area where seismic energy comes in off the Pacific coast over here to the geysers area because men have drilled into the upper magma chambers of the Clear Lake volcano here to obtain steam to power turbines here at the geysers facility. The seismic energy comes off the Pacific Ocean and finds these man-made earthquake faults, and then it fractures the rock inside these man-made drill points, and then we have some earth movement. That's why we have so many earthquakes here. Probably 10 to 20, well, I shouldn't even say 10, 20 to 30 earthquakes here at the geyser facility every day without fail. Okay, that's what's happening here. We go further south over here to the northern part of the San Francisco Bay Area. What's here? American Canyon, California. This is a 2.0 earthquake here. 2.0 earthquake here near the northern shore of San Francisco Bay. Okay? South of the Bay Area down here, guess what? Where's it at? The San Andreas Fault. This is a 1.2 tremor here near Loyola, California. Loyola, California. A 1.2 tremor. We go further south here. I want to go over here to the east here near another fault zone. I wonder where we're at. Can you say the Hayward Fault? This is a 1.3 tremor here near San Martin, California. 1.3 tremor here on the Hayward Fault. Further south, also on Hayward Fault, this is a 1.4 tremor here. Gilroy, California. Lately, we've had a lot of earthquakes here in Gilroy, and right now we're not having swarms. We're just having many, many earthquakes here in this area every day. Okay? They're not showing everything. Again, right here, where you see this earthquake on the San Andreas Fault right here, Aromas, California, this is also 1.7 tremor. But in this area here, we have the San Andreas. Over to the east, we have the Hayward, and further to the east, we have the Calaveras Fault. Three of the most dangerous fault zones here in California, and they line up here just south of the Bay Area. Okay? That makes this a very dangerous place to live. Very dangerous place to live. Okay? I'm just being honest here. I'm just being honest. Now, they're not showing hardly anything going on here in Los Angeles or down here further south in Southern California. There are earthquakes here. We're going to talk more about those tomorrow and Thursday. Okay? I'm going to back out here now and show you earthquakes around the world. I'm going over here to Central America. This earthquake here is southwest of San Jose, Guatemala. This is a 5.0 here, 5.0 earthquake on the Cocos Plate. The Cocos Plate, guys. Okay? Not over on the landmass, but on the Cocos Plate. Okay? There's a little bit of a difference. Okay? The Cocos Plate is moving. The San Andreas Plate is moving. The North American Fault is moving. I shouldn't say San Andreas Plate. The San Andreas Fault is moving. The North American Plate is moving, and the Pacific Plate is also moving. That's not all, folks. There's more. There's a lot more. Let's go over here to China first. Let's go over here to China. Now, I'm going to start over here on the western side of China here. This is actually Russia. I'm sorry, Russia. This earthquake just happened. This is a 5.4 earthquake here. A 5.4 earthquake is a large quake. 5.0 to 5.5 are large quakes. 5.5 to 5.9, actually 5.6 to 5.9 are considered to be very large earthquakes. This is a 5.4 large earthquake. 5.4 earthquake near Novokaya, Kent, Russia. Okay? Over here on the edge of the Caspian Sea here. Novokaya, Kent Russia. Okay, 11 miles east of Novokayakint, Russia here. Over here in China, you see a red earthquake here. This happened about 45 minutes ago. This earthquake is a 5.0 earthquake here. But it's not all. Look at this. This is a 5.1. 5.1 happened earlier this morning, 3:58 this morning, and then we had this one just a little while ago, this red one here, 5.0. To the south over here, near the border with the Himalaya Mountains, we have a 4.6 earthquake here. Okay, just northwest of Saga, China. Okay, now I want to come down here into the Philippines here. Okay, in the Philippines here. This is just off the east coast of the Philippines here, Mindanao, Philippines here. This is a 4.7 earthquake here along the coastline. 4.7 moderate earthquake here. This is 50 miles deep. 50 miles deep. There are more earthquakes here as well, but again, USGS does not want to show them. Fascinating, huh? I don't think so. I think it's very poor of USGS and what they do. I've talked about that before. We go further south over here to north central Indonesia here. Okay. This is a 5.0 earthquake here near Bethel, Indonesia. Another 5.0 large earthquake here. And again, they're not showing all the earthquakes here either. They're just barely showing 2 earthquakes here. North central Indonesia here, 5.0 large earthquake. And down here to the south, east of Java here, in the Banda Sea here, we have a 4.6 moderate quake here. 105 kilometers deep. Still a very shallow earthquake. Okay. We go further here to the east here, Papua New Guinea. This is another 5.0 earthquake here. Okay. This is out in the ocean waters of the Pacific Ocean. 5.0 earthquake here. This is west southwest of Panaguna, Papua New Guinea. Okay. Nobody felt this earthquake, and the ocean waters absorbed the shockwaves of this quake. Okay. Let's go over here to Fiji here. Right here. Actually, this is closer to Vanuatu. Let's say this is Sofa or Sola, Vanuatu. This is a 5.0 earthquake, 112 miles northwest of Sola, Vanuatu. Sola, Vanuatu. Okay, but over here in Fiji area, this is near Levuka, Fiji. This is the largest of the earthquakes today. This is a 5.6, very large earthquake. It's in the ocean. Nobody even felt this earthquake. It's nowhere near Levuka, Fiji, or any other islands here. This is in the Pacific Ocean, and the ocean waters absorb the shockwaves of this quake. Okay? For the south here, this is south of Fiji, just north of the Kermadec Islands. This is a 5.0 earthquake here as well. Okay? This is 379 miles deep. Okay? This is a deep earthquake, which means we're going to have a 6.0 earthquake as a result of this earthquake today. This is a 4.9. This is also 379 miles deep, which means we're going to have a much larger shallow earthquake in this region within the next 3 to 10 days. Within the next 3 to 10 days, we're going to have another 6.0 earthquake. I've been right on with these forecasts in the past. Okay, that's going to happen. So we've covered almost all of Europe, and we're going over here to South America. South America, there are 28 earthquakes here in South America today, but USGS says there's only one here in near northern Chile and the Argentine border. Okay, this is a 4.3 moderate earthquake west of San Antonio de los Cobres, Argentina, in the Andes Mountains. In the Andes Mountains, guys. Okay, right at the border region of Argentina and Chile. Okay, why is this important? Let's look closely at where this earthquake is. Okay, Look over here to the west. Can you count the volcanoes here? As I said before, when we get these earthquakes in this region right here, these earthquakes may be magma motivated, meaning magma down beneath the surface that may have caused this earthquake. Okay, a 4.3 moderate earthquake here. There are other earthquakes here as well, but again, USBS is not talking about it. Probably, I want to say 34 earthquakes here in South America. Can't even talk. 36 earthquakes here in South America today. Do we have any questions about any earthquakes here around the globe today? I know I briefly covered a lot of territory here, but I have a lot of things I need to talk about today that are worth our time. Okay? We have a lot of things to talk about. I want to make sure we get it all out here. Now, surgery looks like has a question here, so I'm going to try to answer here. Or the big stuff. The right stuff here says it's supposed to be 98 and sunny here in East Washington, but all of a sudden it's 78 degrees, fully overcast, slightly drizzle. What's going on? You have a storm system coming out of the Gulf of Alaska, and I think that's what brought the clouds in. You need to go over to your TV station, Colo, I believe it's Colo TV, and look at the weather forecast. Okay, just like here. Now it's turning into early fall here in North Carolina. It's the end of August, but it's acting like early fall here. Today we're supposed to hit 81 degrees. I don't think it's even gotten to be 75. Last night it got down to 50 degrees here in North Carolina. That means early fall to me. Okay. Rice stuff says it's high 90s, forecast to be high 90s this next week, so I doubt it. Wow. Interesting. Interesting. Does anybody have any questions about anything we talked about so far? Folks, if you like what we talk about on this channel, please give us a thumbs up. We greatly appreciate it. Also, please stick around for our entire presentation today, because if you only hear the first 5 or 10 minutes here, you're not getting anything. And what we have to talk about right now is very, very important. We want to save lives here. What we're going to talk about next is mostly California, but it can affect the entire United States, for that matter, the entire world. Okay? That's how important it is. Okay? So give us a thumbs up. And also, folks, if you like what we're doing on this channel, please consider subscribing to this channel. If you're already subscribed, please make sure you check your subscriptions. Make sure you have not been unsubscribed by the demon, YouTube. They unsubscribe people all the time. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe, and then also click on the little bell icon right next to the subscription button. Click on that little bell icon, and the drop-down menu of 3 items is going to come up. When you click on that little bell icon, the drop-down menu of 3 items is going to come up, and then you're going to see the word ALL. Click on the word ALL. That should get you motivated to be here on this channel, because USBS won't have anything to do with it. YouTube will try to mess you up, but guess what? We're going to keep ahead of it, aren't we? Okay, we're going to keep ahead of it. Okay, make sure you click on the subscription button, get subscribed to this channel, and then click on that little drop-down menu with the word ALL. When you click on that, YouTube will notify you of what's going on, but YouTube doesn't always do it. Okay, number one, they don't like my channel. I don't really give a darn. I want to make sure we get out information that's important for all of you. That's our main motivation for this channel. Making sure we get out information to all of you to save lives. Okay? Yes, we talk about earthquakes all the time. We talked about hurricanes. We just got through talking about a hurricane this past week, and it didn't damage any land, yet it did knock down some old homes on the beach in here in North Carolina. It did provide high surf. Yes, 50 people rescued one day and 78 people rescued another from the high surf generated by Hurricane Aaron. Okay, we have other storm systems coming up here into the Atlantic Ocean, and we'll be talking about them this week. Okay, but tonight I have a lot of things I want to talk about. Okay, I would ask all of you to please be patient and listen to me through the entire presentation. Okay, I'm going to be putting up this picture right now. This man is a guy named Jack Hibbs. He's a pastor of Calvary Church in California. We're going to be talking about him. We're going to be talking about why he is important in California and why and what he's doing to save lives in California. That's what we're talking about. It's a very important presentation tonight. Okay? I'm just telling you. Please stand by. This is going to be fun. It's going to give you something to think about as well. Jack Hibbs spoke to Glenn Beck this morning on his program. Like I said, he's a pastor from Calvary Chapel in Chino Hills, California. He's a founding senior pastor. He's author of Call to Take a Bold Stand. He's been doing that for about the last little while now. He's been writing a book that comes out this next month in September, actually on September 16th. Like I said, Jack was on Glenn Beck's show this morning. Why is it important? Because, folks, we talked about this a few weeks ago. California Senate Bill AB 495. California Senate Bill AB 495. Does that ring a bell with anybody? Does anybody have any idea about what Gavin Newsom is doing in California or his other cohorts, Democrat, communist cohorts in California? They're antics. They're illegal antics. Illegal antics. Okay? Jack Hibbs is trying to protect families in California, whereas Newsom and his band of do-nothings other than try to mess up families and people in California, keep on doing it. Okay? It's crazy what's going on in California. They are trying to affect laws that will affect millions of Americans, families. Jack Hibbs is one of the major people standing in their way. Okay? He's standing for something that we talked about, making a difference in people's lives. He's taking a stand. Okay? Our entire program is based on taking a stand and making a difference, saving lives. Okay? For something that is really making a difference, we need to take a stand. Jesus said this, I set before you an open door that no man can shut. Jesus spoke that to the churches in the book of Revelations. Okay? Now, during the COVID outbreak in the early 2020, 2021 time period, okay? Remember when the California authorities said you must not go to church? You must keep your churches closed. And when one pastor held a church service in a parking lot with people sitting in their cars, guess what? The authorities were called. And they started handing out tickets to parishioners that are sitting in their cars away from everybody. That's what these authorities do. They did it illegally. The pastor didn't do it illegally, but the authorities did. Jack Hibbs said he had no authority from God to shut the doors to the church. It is God's church. So we just kept preaching, we kept teaching. The communication today is about California Senate Bill AB 495. Now, I'm going to have to explain to you what that is. This bill passes. If this bill, Senate Bill 495, passes, and Newsom signs it into law, you as a Californian, your parents, your grandchildren, your children that live in California, and or your family or friends that live in California, you need to take your kids and move away. If you live in California, or you have family members, children and grandchildren in California, or even friends, you need to tell them to get up and move out. Get out of California now. I understand it's a very pretty state. I used to live there. I love surfing there. But now it's getting very dangerous to be there. Not necessarily because of earthquakes, but because of politics. Now that's quite a statement, isn't it? I've never asked anybody to leave California, Washington, or Oregon at all. But now I'm putting out the word, you need to protect your families. Okay? Millions of people have already left California. Millions of people. Most of us have left because of protest against one thing or another. Listen to me. It actually makes me sick to be saying this. As most of you know, I left California in April 2000, mostly because of my profession. My life was on the line in California and San Diego. I either could leave and stay alive or have gangs kill me. I had gangs stalking me. My life was literally worth crap in San Diego. I loved it there. Beautiful weather. But for the last 4 years I was there, I never even saw the beach. Yet I loved the beach. I love surfing, but I never saw it. I was working too darn much and I was getting stalked by gangs. What a life. What a life. Gangs in San Diego and Los Angeles have been unaliving people for a long time. Many officers with San Diego police and other officers that I used to work with died. Not necessarily from gangs, but they died as a result of being in California, in San Diego County, and in Los Angeles. Already this year, I've heard of at least 6 police officers in Los Angeles police or Los Angeles sheriffs that have been killed by gangs or violence in California. Violence in Los Angeles. Violence in San Diego. What a way to go. Okay? I also left San Diego because I could no longer afford to be there. I could no longer afford to live in San Diego on a police officer's salary. Okay? Things are even worse now. If it's not for the high prices, it's unfair laws. They're putting people in peril. Unfair laws are putting people in peril. Peril for their lives. Peril for the lives of their families and children. Jack Hibbs, like I said, is a pastor for a Calvary church. He says that all of what I've said so far is 100% true. It's the last thing a pastor wants to say to his congregation, that they need to leave the state. But it's that bad. As I explain this bill to you, you're going to find out it is that bad. It's not my opinion. And I've been counseled by legal authorities about how bad this is. And so when I tell you, or Jack Hibbs has told members of his congregation, if you got a kid in school, you've got to get out. If Newsom does not veto this bill, you've got to get your kid out of California for their own safety. It's that bad. The left-wing media is saying, no, we are not making this up. know we're making all this up. We're not. We're not making any of this up. The left-wing media is supporting left-wing politicians here. The Communist Party, in my opinion. You and I, the conservatives, are not making any of this up. Let me tell you what this bill is. I want you to understand it completely. Let me push back on a couple of things here. Number one, it's Assembly Bill 495. And here's the deal. It is known as the Compassion Bill. Really? The Compassion Bill? To take our children away from us? It's a bill that Celeste Rodriguez and the entire Democrat legislature of California crafted. Yes, I'm going to blame it on Celeste Rodriguez and the entire Democrat legislature of California. They made it. It's a bill to stop the bad orange man because it's all about ICE in its operations in California. But it is not just about ICE. It is a lot about the children in California. It's more about the government taking your children away from you. This bill is designed specifically to take your children away from you if you're following a conservative agenda. Here it is. They want us to believe that if an illegal alien is abducted by ICE, or someone does not like what you're doing in your family or with your children, they have the ability to take your child away from you. Let's look at an example of exactly what is going to happen if this bill is approved. Say our children are in a state-sponsored school. Almost all of the schools in California or anywhere else are state-sponsored, run by the state of California. It doesn't matter whether they're in the San Diego School District, whether they're in the Los Angeles School District or anywhere else. They're still in California schools, okay? Or even a daycare center, a private school or even a daycare center. This bill would allow anyone, any individual, can go to a website, print out an affidavit from their home computer. On the affidavit, they're going to be asked the question, did you attempt to reach the parents or guardians or custodians of this child? Yes or no? Whatever they check here, then they have to sign their name. They write their name. No address is required. No other identification is required here. There's no driver's license or identification required here. There's no social security number required. There's no phone number required. The person checks the box, signs their name, and writes down the child's name on the affidavit, that they are withdrawing the child from the school for the child's own safety. Under the whole ruse that the parents or a parent was captured by ICE, or not teaching the child what they think that you ought to be teaching them. Yeah. It's a ruse. They came up with the ruse idea because ICE was there taking these illegal aliens into custody, thinking that children were not going to be taken care of. Wrong. Wrong. But this is what the guardians of the state of California have put together, allowing anyone to download this affidavit off the internet, put their name there, the child's name there, the child is not being adequately taken care of, and they have permission right there on the affidavit to withdraw the child from school for their own safety. Yeah. No identification required. They take your child and kidnap that child. Here's the crazy thing. We already have that in the California Education Code. It's California Education Code 234.7. Even in the event of a child not being able to be picked up or taken into the care of a family member, be it by accident, by death, or whatever, we already have this law. So the reason we are freaking out about this law and making it loud and clear is the fact that who is the person who downloads this affidavit and prints it out and fills it out and takes that child out of your custody, out from the school. It literally states they don't have to be a relative or a close friend. It can be anyone who is possessing this affidavit. It's downloadable and printable from your own home computer. So theoretically, someone could be down the street from your grandkids or from your own children. And they can see that you go to work at a certain time of day. They know that your kid goes to a certain school. They can go to the school with the affidavit and extract your child without giving you notice. No notice or identification check. Now here's the punchline. It can be said as a punchline. Because it's an affidavit, the school cannot refuse the request for that child. Now at the end of the school day, you go to the school and pick up your child. The school is under no obligation to tell you who it was or where they went. Again, the school is under no obligation to tell you who your child went with or why or where they were going. That's why we're talking about this right now. We talked about it a few weeks ago real briefly, but now I'm explaining it out to the point of almost ridiculousness. I want everybody to know exactly what's going on here. It's literally giving permission from anybody to kidnap a child. We already have kidnapping of children and women out from the street in broad daylight. Yeah. Sex trafficking. This would give open permission for anybody to take a child from school and you'll never see them again. The school won't give you the information. They won't know it because it's not on the affidavit. All they have is a name and a signature. They don't even have to give you the correct information. They can put Joe Blow the ragman at the bottom of the page. It doesn't even have to be the real name. Excuse me. They don't have to tell you the truth. That's why we have to put a stop to this. There are many great legal minds out there. They're rationally and nationally recognized. They reviewed this bill. They said it is evil incarnate. This is so important. They have said in almost everything we do, the devil's in the deeds. Almost everything we see here is devil in the deeds. The fine print. They said this bill is so vague that it would be hard to defend a parent that's trying to get their child or find the child because it is so loosely and so broadly written, so vague. We've been told that this is the worst thing that can happen in California's government because of the way our legal system is put together. From the judges down to the person on the street. This is a dangerous bill. Assembly Bill 495. Remember that bill, Assembly Bill 495. How well do people in California know this bill? I have to tell you, this past Tuesday, a week ago, they called an impromptu rally at the California State Capitol in Sacramento. impromptu rally that got 6,500 plus people there. The sergeant at arms at the Capitol building told Jack Hibbs and the people there that were running the rally that was the largest gathering regarding legislation of concern in the past 30 years. The rally held at the Capitol State grounds was the largest rally in 30 years. Over 6,500 people showed up. Now, we are grateful to conservative agencies like Newsmax, Fox Television, KFI Radio in Los Angeles. Now, was there others? Was the NBC there? Was ABC there? Was CBS there? No. No other television or radio stations were there except for KFI, Fox Radio, and Television, and Newsmax. It was all grassroots. When people are finding out about and reading about this, they're outing what this bill really is. They're really getting involved. People showed up to this rally. They were respectful, but they were loud. They were smiling, but they made their point. There was a series of speakers there. There were attorneys there. There were lawmakers there. The bottom line is this, ladies and gentlemen. Because of the public uproar, once they found out about what was going on with Bill 495, the bill has been placed in what they call suspension, which means they pulled it from its progress for now. They pulled Assembly Bill 495 into what they call suspension, tabling it for right now. But it's for now. These Democrats can do whatever they darn well please, and they usually do. They're going to reconsider the bill. It's inevitable. The Democrats are going to reconsider this bill. It doesn't mean they're going to stop it. They're reconsidering the bill. They're going to review the bill. Now, it could go over and die in suspension. Could go away. But Rodriguez and other Democrats are not going to let it go by. Okay? If by August 29th it will either die in suspension or they will advance it to the Senate, and that Senate will rubber stamp it because they are all Democrats. Today is August 26th. That's why I am harping on this right now. From today until August 29th, 3 days from now, we have to make sure that the California Democrat Party is put on notice that if they rubber stamp this bill and send it to the governor, Governor Newsom, that there will be complications to those Democrats. There will be complications in the lives and jobs of those Democrats. Now, I'm sorry if I'm offending anyone. I'm sorry if I'm offending any listeners or viewers of this program right now. I consider this very important. I have grandchildren going to school in San Diego County. I have friends that I used to work with. I have friends and neighbors all throughout California, San Francisco, Los Angeles, Sacramento, Santa Barbara. Rob52, who's a moderator on this channel, also has family in San Diego and Los Angeles and San Francisco. I think all of us have someone we know in California. Hurricane Heather lives in Northern California. A lot of people that belong to this channel, belong to the EMA family, are living in California. This affects you. This affects you and it's going to affect your families. Like I said, if by August 29th it will either die in suspension or they'll advance it to the Senate and the Senate will pass it over to Governor Newsom for a signature. And it could become law. And if that's the case, anybody could kidnap your children or grandchildren. I'm telling you. Again, I'm sorry if I'm offending anybody, but I think it's high time we stand up and be recognized for who we are. We need to be recognized as fighters. We need to be recognized for being responsible citizens, responsible family members, responsible parents. I don't want to see my grandchildren kidnapped by some Tom, Dick, and Harry, and then we never see them again. Okay? California has a Democrat stronghold. They have a supermajority. They don't even put things to our vote anymore. It's no longer we the people in California. It's no longer we the people in California. They rubber stamp things all the time. Then they give it to Newsom. Here's what I'm concerned about. I hope it dies while the bill is in suspension for this reason. The Democrats are going to get so much heat right now. We've had 4 Democrat senators tell us publicly that crowd on Tuesday last week was killing us. Now that's good news. But I, as one former California, do not want that bill to go to Newsom's desk. It's got to stop. Because you and I both know what that sly old ugly dog will do. Yeah, he might veto it for now. And then come out and say, guess what? See how big of a moderate I am? And I put this big bad bill away. So vote for me in 2028. Yeah, he could do that. But we need to make sure that the Democrats of California and Newsom are at the front line wearing that scarlet letter of AB 495. The scarlet letter. I'm still going to call it the scarlet letter because that's exactly what it is. Sonic Popo Speed Pig says, high time responsible people move out of California. The politics there will never change. I've got to agree with you. I've seen politics in the school board in San Diego County. Horrible things happening in San Diego County. And the San Diego people don't care. We need to stand up, guys. We need to stand up. We need ethics. We need honor. We need integrity. We need morality. We need pride. Okay? We need that right now, immediately. Immediately, guys. I kid you not. We need it immediately. If we don't get this, guys, this is going to be a disease, a social media disease. Okay? We need this. We don't need these Democrats doing what they're getting away with. I'm telling you right now. Don't let this happen. I'm just going to take a quick pause here because Renee Seppi just put up a flash flood warning issued by the National Weather Service out of Salt Lake City for Kane, Utah. Flash flood warning for Kane, Utah. Heavy rain and life-threatening flash flooding. If you folks live in Kane, Utah, head for the hills right now. Head for higher ground immediately. Renee Sefi says also out of Flagstaff, Arizona, life-threatening flash flooding in Coconino, Arizona. Coconino, Coconino, Arizona. Now I know I'm gonna mispronounce this word, somebody's name here on our chat. YIYEL thought, THOT, says, does it not say in the Bible, pride goeth before the fall? You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Now, folks, I've been talking about this before. Now I have come today before you and explained specifically what this bill entails. I've explained specifically what it can do to your families, what it can do to your children. It allows unsupervised idiots out there to take your child and kidnap them and put them into a sex trade situation. Fact. It's happening already before our eyes. But this would give the people legal authorization to kidnap children. It cannot be allowed to go. This cannot be allowed to go. Period. Sonic Popo Speed Pig says, yes, sir, a huge part of this problem is our fault for stepping away from our responsibilities regarding participating in politics. We left it for somebody else to take care of. We did. We absolutely did. And that must stop now. That must stop now. Okay? Now I'm going to ask you this. What are your plans for the next few days? What are your plans for the next couple of weeks? We must have people praying. We must have people praying immediately, right now. We must have people praying all day long, morning, noon, or night. We cannot let this bill go forward. We cannot let this Democrat Party take over our children, take over our families. As I said right now, I'm not telling you to leave, but I am telling you to leave. California is dangerous. California is dangerous to you and your families. For the next few weeks, we must have people praying night and day. Now, they have a website out there. I'm going to give you the web address. Real, REALIMPACT.us. 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 Real Impact US. Please, everybody that's here on the channel today, please pass this on to everybody you know about. Pass it on to everybody you talk to. Your immediate family, your extended family. Pass it on to your neighbors, your friends. Pass it on to the people you work with, and also the people you will socialize with on social media. Everybody needs to know this information. We have to get this information out. RealImpact.us. Go to it. Go to it, and there you can get your marching orders there. RealImpact.us. It's going to show you the progress of this bill. It's going to show you who to call and what state senator is your state senator. Then call your state senator. Don't threaten them, but be stern. Do not threaten a senator or any public official, but be stern, be firm. Tell them you oppose 495 and tell them to kill that bill right now. When they were in Sacramento last week on the Capitol grounds, they held a 30-minute class on the state Capitol steps. This is where to go to your legislator. This is how you lobby them. And let's go do it. Hundreds and hundreds of people went to their state legislature this past Tuesday. They demanded that their senator and their assembly person speak up against a bill. It was absolutely epic. Again, the largest crowd at the state capitol in 30 years. Now, I can only imagine what it's like to live in California now. Well, it seems like every day there's something else to injure the people, to injure the families of California people. That's why I moved away from there. That's one of the reasons I moved away from there. One, to get away from the gangs. Two, to get away from the high prices. Yeah. I had what they considered to be a one-bedroom apartment that was a remodeled studio. Yeah, a one-bedroom apartment that was a remodeled studio. I was paying $1,095 a month. Incredible. That's why I moved to Denver and later to Salt Lake City. That's why I moved to North Carolina, to get away from California. Now, I could move to Texas. I could move to Florida. I could live in either of those states. But man, I could never live in California again. Never, ever. Now, at one point in time when I was a young man, I wanted to live in California. We went there when I was 16, 17 years old. It was beautiful. I fell in love with the beaches. California is still a very beautiful state, but in reality, it is just an insane asylum. California is an insane asylum. Southern California, San Diego, Los Angeles, Sacramento, Santa Barbara, San Francisco. When I lived in San Diego, I frequently visited LA. I had friends and family in Los Angeles. I visited San Francisco. I camped in the mountains of California from San Diego, Mexican border, all the way north to Oregon, all over the mountain ranges. It was absolutely gorgeous. I camped in Yosemite Valley. Yosemite, where you looked up and saw Half Dome and El Capitan on my right-hand side. And if I looked straight up at night, I could see the Milky Way galaxy. That's how beautiful it was. Surrounded by trees, forest, and the magnificent mountains. From Los Angeles to San Francisco, we could see the fog along the Mount California coastline to the west, and the rolling hills and mountains out to the east. This past year and now this year, we've seen firsthand the devastation that Newsom and his people allowed to happen in California to our cities there. Newsom and his band of clowns have devastated California. Devastated California. They're still growing crops in California, but now the farmers don't have much water left because Newsom has allowed that water to drain out into the ocean. Yeah. President Trump arranged to have water from Northern California taken south to help refill the reservoirs that Karen Bass and Governor Newsom let go dry. And yet Newsom has put that water out in the ocean. The reservoirs are still dry. When President Trump was in Los Angeles earlier this year, he talked about revising the rules, revising the laws, and the permitting process to allow people to rebuild in their homes in the Pacific Palisades and parts of LA. It's not being done. President Trump took upon himself to reinvigorate federal law to make sure the regulations for permitting processes for the federal government were taken care of, to allow rebuilding of the homes in Pacific Palisades and El Monte, California. But Newsom, yes, he and Karen Bass promised President Trump before he left that they would relax the rules and relax the permitting process to allow homes to be rebuilt, but they haven't done it. They want to turn the Pacific Palisades into a 50-minute city and turn it into a homeless place. That's what they want to do. The beautiful Pacific Palisades area is no longer pretty ugly. Where the people that were in Pacific Palisades, they moved. Basically, Karen Bass, the mayor of Los Angeles, and Governor Newsom have taken the property away from them. Yeah. Despite the fact that Newsom's wickedness and Karen Bass's wickedness to cut off water to our growers, to make life there as miserable as possible. And this bozo wants to run for president of the United States. People need to wake up locally and nationally. We need to rally with the people in California. Because if we don't do that, California must become a place where we stand firm and solid and stand up for righteousness, stand up for the rule of law. Otherwise, California will go down the tubes as one of the worst places ever to live in this world. We need to stand with real conservative people. We need to help them. Because if we don't help the people of California, Newsom is coming to America. He's coming for our country. And he is the worst possible thing ever that could ever happen to America. I'm concerned because he puts on a good show. He lies through his teeth. As one woman said this past week, and I heard her say it, he's tall, he's dark, and he's handsome, so to speak. He's got the hair. He's got the voice. He sounds like Batman. He's cool looking until you listen to his policies. Newsom is diabolical. We must stop this advancement of wickedness. We must stop this advancement of wickedness, brothers and sisters. Sonic Popo Speed Pig says, we've been praying for our entire country for years now. Did my bit in the service as a police officer and have here in Texas done everything in my power to stop this insanity. I moved to North Carolina. I'm also retired law enforcement. I continue putting up my voice here. I continue to speak the law here. I continue putting up signs. I continue putting up my voice and standing up for what I believe in. But we all need to do that. Yes, I have used my channel here as a bully pulpit. Yes, I have. I will admit to that. But frankly, guys, this is an emergency. I call this Emergency Management Associates. You guys are our associates. We are the managers of this channel. This is and constitutes an emergency. We must save our state of California. We must save our families. We must save our children. We must save our grandchildren. We must save our neighbors and friends. Stand up for righteousness. Don't stand for the wickedness. Stand up against us people. They can't rule us. We need to rule them. Now, I don't think the rest of America is falling for Newsom. But then again, I don't think that you could even have a socialist a socialist Islamic person run for New York's governor and win. So what do we do now? What do we do now? We have a socialist in Chicago. We have a socialist in New York. We have socialists in Michigan that turned one town upside down into an Islamic state in Michigan. They tried it in Texas and got thrown out of Texas. It's got to stop. We must take our country back now. We must take our country back now. Our previous president was spit on by other countries, literally spit on by other countries because he was a nobody. He was a dirtbag. Nobody respected our country before President Trump. President Trump has brought respect back to our country. Let's follow President Trump's leadership. Let's make our country great again. Let's make California great again. We must take back our state. We must take back our country now. Now is the time. Sergey says nothing will change until we make it ourselves, make it happen ourselves. We have to help law enforcement. We have to vote way better. I agree. Janet Blackwoods here in the chat saying it resembles darkness. Bad for the state of California. Pray for the evil to be revealed. Pray for the evil to be thrown out of the world. Pray for the evil to be thrown out of the world. And I'm talking dead. I don't call for anybody's death. I don't want to say that. But I am calling for the death of the evil that's pervasive. It's got to stop. It's got to stop. So what do we do now? What do we do now? Let's pray. Let's work together. Go to realimpact.us. Get your marching orders, especially if you live in California. As I said, if you don't live in California, you need to stand up anyway. You need to stand up for your family. You need to stand up for your relatives. You need to stand up for your grandchildren and children. You need to stand up for your friends and relatives that live there. We must not tolerate the Democrat Communist Party. We cannot tolerate the Democrat Communist Party ever. We must put them out of power immediately. Immediately. Go to realimpact.us and get your marching orders. I will talk about this again. I'm not going to let it go away. I'm going to keep on top of it, and I'm going to give you information ongoing in the next few days. If I see anything go really bad, I will get on the air and talk about it. Do we have any questions here? Hurricane Heather says, hey, seriously, it needs to be a come to Jesus moment by any means necessary. Heather, you're absolutely right. This is a come to Jesus moment now. Now, guys. Now more than ever. Let's do it. Let's make it happen. Let's make it happen now. Any questions? Again, I would like you all to spread this information fast. Spread it far. Again, your family members, your extended family, the people you associate with on social media, even the people you work with. Spread it far and wide. Your neighbors, friends, your family, your extended family, your social media contacts, and the people you work with. Everybody needs to see this. We need to put it in a moment that Heather was just talking about. This is necessary. This is the come to Jesus moment. We need to stand for what is right, what is true. Sage Pup says, if I can get an old school bus or RV, I would load up and leave Southern California today. I know you would, Sage Pup. and I've got your back. I have all your backs. That's why I'm on the air now. That's why I have a bully pulpit here. I've had your backs for a very long time, and I'm standing by that. I will never take advantage of it. I'll stand with all of you. Janet Blackwood says he I believe she's talking about Newscomb, resembles darkness. Bad for the state of California. Pray for evil to be revealed. Yeah. Absolutely. Any questions? Renee Sefi says indifference and ignorance will lead to destruction. Not speaking up now will not help you later. You can fight communism once it takes over, but you can fight communism right now. You can't fight it later, but you can fight it now. And now's the time to do it. Kenny the Warrior, thank you for being here. Appreciate you. Any questions, guys? Any questions? Guys, I love you. I care about you a lot. We need to stand up for righteousness today, immediately. We may not have another time to do it. If we don't do it right now, this country is lost. This country, our state, and federal government, our entire country is lost. And if our country is lost, so is the rest of the world. Fact. Fact. Okay? This is a fact. We need to use law very well. In the scriptures, First Timothy chapter 1, verse 8. But we know that the law is good if a man use it lawfully. Lawfully. Knowing this, that the law is not made for righteous man, but for the lawless and disobedient, for the ungodly and for sinners, for the unholy and profane, for murderers of fathers and murderers of mothers, manslayers, for whoremongers, for them that defile themselves with mankind, for men stealers, for liars, for perjured persons. And if there be anything other than that is contrary to sound doctrine. This is contrary to sound doctrine, isn't it? Absolutely is. According to the goodness, the glorious gospel of the blessed God, which was once committed to my trust. Paul's talking here. And I thank Christ Jesus our Lord, who hath enabled me, for that he counted me faithful, putting me into the ministry. Brothers and sisters, I've been part of the ministry most of my life. I'm still doing it. I am still doing it. Brothers and sisters, also, I have not mentioned this tonight earlier, but I mentioned it now. If you want to help support us, you see our two PayPal locations going across the bottom of your screen. We'd appreciate your support. You see our email address here as well, rltnspdema@gmail.com. If you have any suggestions on what we want to talk about here, please send us there. If you have any criticism or other comments, send them to our email address. We'd appreciate it. You also see our address here, come across the bottom of your screen. 504 Bethel Road, Box 401. Morganton, North Carolina. The zip code here is 28655. We haven't had any cards or letters for quite a while. We'd appreciate that as well. Tell us how you're doing. Tell us what you're doing to prepare for emergencies. We greatly appreciate it. Inside your card or letter, you can also slip a check or even cash inside your card or letter and send it to us as well. We'd appreciate it. We have not had any super chats here as far as I know tonight, but we appreciate super chats here when you give them to us. I thank God that you all are here. I thank God for each one of you. I pray for you. I pray for our country. I pray for our states. I pray for our cities. I pray for our leaders. May God bless you. May God bless America. May God be with you this night and always. If anything else happens today or tonight or in the morning, and we get wind of it, we get the information. As soon as we get the information, we'll be coming back on here to talk to you about it as soon as the information becomes available. Until then, God bless you. God be with you until we meet again. We'll see you on the other side. Good night, everybody. Much love. Take care.